Okay, this is doing more, as it's going to be a continuing thing, highlighting certain individual paintings. This is the Fulcrum, which is another one from the Apocalypse series, with a big thing that happened with, particularly with the Apocalypse series. Is I started leaning in a lot of respects. I started leaning very much into the band's song lyrics, but I also started leaning a lot into just what Laurie Stein would have referred to as the back brain. And just basically started unpacking my fucked up psyche, I guess. See in here, you see me also. One thing I used to be a big thing with. I started leaning way more into the cartooning aspect. One thing in my art education, quote unquote, was I frustrated in school. I frustrated a lot of my teachers who were trying to somehow train me to be more to try more for realism, and they were having me just paint pictures of bowls of fruit and whatnot. And I don't think I was ever particularly successful at that. I did want to be a cartoonist at one point. I wanted to draw comics, and I leaned more and more into the cartooning aspect, or what was the aspiring cartooning aspect back then in this. And I've always kind of leaned into that a lot, but around the apocalypse, I started leaning into it quite a bit. You see throughout here, I've got this figure. It's kind of a going figure. I've kind of had this series of drawings I did in the 80s called The Lost Art, which if you look on the channel, I think you will find the video for The Lost Art. And I'm not going to go into great lengths describing it here. Uh, but this is kind of taken from that. It's kind of a guy trying to hang himself, whether he succeeds or not. And that was a big, just round about the 80s. I was drawing that a lot. And I was going through a lot of depression and despair and frustration, suicidal ideation, etc. And that was kind of the language it came out of at that time. Up in here, you can see various messy layers of this kind of brain graffiti here. I found it something something, no idea anymore. And it says, and the characters were supposed to be incidental, which is taken from, I think, my friend Randall Seiler and a little piece he wrote at one point. Back up here, you got the hangman or hanging man thing next to a big piece of graffiti that says live, love, laugh, and party. And I remember in the 80s in particular, a lot of the stoner crowd I used to hang out with kind of drew that slogan everywhere: live, love, laugh, and party. And I always answered it with my own, which was die, hate, cry. And I hated live, love, laugh, and party. I was just very depressed, and was not having any of the fun they were having. And so there was that. And there's a little notification to say my storage space is almost gone, so I gotta go fix that. And there's some chop chop. That's from the Clash, and the end of their song Jimmy Jazz. I think you hear Joe Strummer saying chop chop. And just something I just kind of non sequitur I threw in there, and a bunch of other things. And here's